it difficult to follow these amazing speakers that I've had here today. I'd like to start by thanking Deirdre, Colin and Paul for being here and for saying such powerful and emotive words. And I would also like to thank everyone that is here today and to say that I believe the presence of each and every person here shows the sheer determination and resilience of the people of this island. I'm heartbroken. Sorry. I just want to start before I really get into what I have to say today by saying that I am heartbroken by what happened in Derry and by the senseless loss and tragedy of Vera McKee. There are simply no words that this tragedy has happened, and my thoughts are with her family and friends and with all of us as a country, because you can feel the mourning and the grief across the whole country that this tragedy has happened. And I'd like to reiterate the words of our speakers today and saying that I condemn these people and that we need to move forward united for peace. Vera often spoke of the Good Friday Agreement and of its importance, and that is what I speak of too. I am a child of the peace process. I'm a child of the Good Friday Agreement. I was 11 when the Good Friday Agreement came to pass, so I was definitely too young to vote, but I grew up with the protection of that agreement, and I grew up believing that my right as an Irish citizen was respected and protected under the Good Friday Agreement. I was wrong. I married an American who fell in love with Belfast, and we decided to make this our home. It was through stabilising his immigration status as the spouse of an EU Irish national that I discovered my rights under the Good Friday Agreement simply do not exist. I discovered that my Irish identity that I've held my entire life is somehow superseded by a British identity and a British citizenship that I do not hold. I have never held a British passport, but the Home Office seemed pretty determined to tell me that I am British. We in Northern Ireland are in a unique position within the United Kingdom. We do have that right to be accepted as Irish or British or both. Identity has long been accepted as a basic human right. And identity was an overriding principle in the Troubles and a fundamental part of the Good Friday Agreement. Yet I have found myself, as a citizen, preparing for court hearings and having to write a statement and go through my entire life history to figure out if I have enough evidence to prove I really identify as Irish and that I really am Irish. I had to look at things like, thank God I did Irish at GCSE, or maybe the courts wouldn't believe I was really Irish. This is not what the Good Friday Agreement says, and there should be no citizen in this country that has to go to court to prove that they are Irish or British or that they are a dual national. That is our right. We have spent the last 4 years, the first 4 years of our marriage, in these court proceedings, fighting for my right to be an Irish citizen and fighting for our right as husband and wife to stay together. So far, we have had success. We were successful in the first hearing where a judge ruled that I am an Irish national and have only ever been such. However, I'm sure the judge that made that ruling would appreciate that round of applause. However, the Home Office has been relentless, is the only word I could use, in tirelessly appealing against me and my husband and reaffirming the fact that to them, I am British and I'm British first. We'll be back in court sometime soon, who knows, maybe next month. The reason that we ended up in this situation, that I ended up in court at all, is because the birthright provisions of the Good Friday Agreement were never implemented. I did not know this 4 years ago. I was walking around with an Irish passport and I believed that that was my right. I did not know that we did not have a Bill of Rights secured, or all these promises that were made in the Good Friday Agreement in 1998 just have not happened. So the birthright provisions are not in domestic UK law, and the British government have said that it is their view that a treaty Her Majesty's government is a party of does not alter the laws of the United Kingdom. So in essence, if it ain't in UK law, they don't have to adhere to it. And there's so much of the Good Friday Agreement that is not in UK law, so we have no legal protections. Under current British nationality laws, which were never amended after the Good Friday Agreement passed, we are all British citizens as a matter of law, irrespective of the Good Friday Agreement. To date, this has affected a small but significant amount of people who have had their EU rights denied on the basis of this nationality law. That is myself included. But post-Brexit, this stands to be extended to all of us in Northern Ireland. All 1.8 million and counting, and anyone who's abroad, if you were born in Northern Ireland, it's not looking too good the way things are right now. NI-born Irish citizens will be unable to fully retain their EU rights under the current policies that are in paper. We have heard assurances that they will be protected, that we will be able to fully access our EU rights and benefits, but that's not what's happening in policy, practice, and paper. We are seeing the creation of two tiers of Irish citizens. Those that will be able to retain their full EU rights and benefits in the United Kingdom, and those who will not. Guess which category we are in. NI-born British citizens who hold a British passport and are British as well under the Good Friday Agreement stand to lose all of their EU rights. They will not even have the basic freedom of movement. Our peace is built on equality. Parity of esteem is at the heart of the Good Friday Agreement. There can be no detrimental or differential treatment between the two communities of Northern Ireland. And yet that is exactly what is happening. And with Brexit, that's exactly what will continue to happen. We have support, we have assurances, but we have nothing in writing. We have no security, no legal avenues to appeal should our rights be denied. The Good Friday Agreement was hard won, and peace was hard won. And it needs to be nurtured, cherished, and protected now more than ever. In the words of Bill Clinton in 1998 during the peace process, one of my favorite Bill Clinton quotes, and one that I think is incredibly appropriate for the situation we're in now. He stated, "In the days to come, there may be those who try to undermine this great achievement. All the parties and the rest of us must stand shoulder to shoulder to defy any such appeal." I'd like to make a direct appeal to Westminster. Respect the will of the people on this island. We voted for the Good Friday Agreement overwhelmingly. And yet 21 years later, we don't have the promises and commitments that were in that referendum. It's time that Westminster got behind us. Thank you. I told a supporter that I would read a poem that they felt was especially poignant right now, so I'm going to close with this poem, which is Seamus Heaney. History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up and hope and history rhyme. I'm going to hold up my copy here of the Good Friday Agreement, and I'd like people to join me in holding up their Irish passport, their British passport, anything they would like to say that we want the Good Friday Agreement. Thank you.